Arteta with Lux Properties. So I'm going to be going over do's and don'ts. This is great if you are just starting out, or even if you are a seasoned agent. You'll notice you will be picking up tidbits throughout. I'm going to go over basically everything from beginning to end. First, I want to start off with why real estate. Everyone always goes on and on about your big why. Why do you wake up every morning? Why do you do the things that you do? What is it that makes you persevere? However, why did you actually get into real estate? A lot of people forget to ask that, and you forget eventually, but it's good to remind yourself. Ask yourself why. Hopefully, it's geared towards being an entrepreneur, becoming a business, because that's what we become once you get into this profession. We become living and breathing marketing and lead generating machines every single day. By that being said, leads me over to the first don't. Don't be a secret agent. You need to put yourself out there. You need to be on every platform. Every single person that you know needs to know that you are in the real estate business. Where do you get all these people? It's magical little computers we have called phones. Everyone, take out your phones for a second. Come on. Go to your contacts. And then scroll all the way down. I want to hear how many contacts you have. Person with the most amount of contacts will get a free drink on me at the end. So, so come on, how many contacts do you have?
1,000.
All right, 1,200.
4,033.
Wow, 4,000, okay. Anybody beats 4,000? No?
I'm still going.
All right, so those 4,000 contacts should be on your social media, should be on email campaigns, should know that you are in business. What if you've been doing this already for, let's say, 10, 20 years, and you're telling me, well, half my contacts are other agents, half my contacts are inspectors, loan officers. They should still be on your drip campaigns. You never know when you are going to get a referral from these agents. For example, there's a lot of agents that I know that actively prospect other agents, even local agents, and they get referrals out of them. Now, different ways of reaching your audience. And remember I mentioned these lovely mini computers? It's free advertising. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Sasha's here. Sasha does an amazing job on TikTok and generates a lot of business on there. So if you master a particular app or platform and really know how to hone into your audiences, you will become very successful quickly and get leads from it. Every single person, as I mentioned, needs to be on a drip campaign, be on a CRM. Even if it's somebody that, let's say, already owns a house and you know they are not gonna sell, put them on a sell or drip campaign, something that will give them the value of their home. Everyone loves to get real estate information, how much their property is building equity every single month, what's sold in their neighborhood, the market stats. Put them on there, because your goal is to be top of mind and to not be forgotten. As I mentioned, even if they're not gonna sell or buy another property, they will eventually know somebody that will need to buy or sell, and usually they will refer the last agent that they've had contact with, or the last name that they remember. Now, truer words can be said. If you fail to plan, you are literally planning to fail. In this profession, you have to have your systems in place. What do I mean by that? So at the beginning of the year, we all set up our business plans, we all set up our goals. How much do you want to make? 100,000, 200,000. They're always big numbers, but once you break everything down, it becomes more attainable. Same concept with what you have to do. Biggest factor of why agents do not succeed, especially the first couple of years, or when you hit that slump that you might be a bit slower and then it increases, you don't have a set schedule. Get your to-dos and break them up into a monthly, weekly, and your daily activities. Your monthly activities should consist. In the US, we have holidays every single month. Every single person should be getting a personal text from you. What if you have 4,000 contacts? How are you going to send 4,000 personal text messages, for example? You could put them in a CRM, send a mass text, or there's a lovely app called WhatsApp. You can create groups, but you can create groups in a broadcast list. That actually will send out mass text messages to that group, and it will send them out individually. So they will not see everyone else's information. Becomes a bit more attainable sending out your 4,000 text messages. You will probably get thousands back, but at least you are touching them every single month, and it's personal. It's just not an email that's going out. Farming, of course. Pick your area, pick a strategy, what you're going to be targeting. Visit new construction sites. This should all be in your monthly goals when you're setting yourself up at the beginning of the month. Why new construction? Especially now that we are at an all-time low in inventory. You want to know as much inventory as possible. Plus, it's great if you have a buyer where you feel you'll be able to take them over to one of those new developments, because once you get there, what happens? The salesperson's there, the expert on the development. They're going to take in that buyer and sell the development for you. Weekly, you have to have your weekly task. Social media. You can also set up a social media calendar on what you want to post every single day. So even if you have, let's say, a VA, you can send them over that social media calendar in order to create the content. At least one listing appointment. Okay, but how are you going to get that? That then trickles over into your daily task, which should always consist of follow-ups, calls. What type of calls you're going to do. I'm a big fan of tracking, so you also want to track everything that you're doing, your marketing efforts, see where you're getting your best return in value, and then also as far as calling, track all the different types of leads that you're calling, expired, for so by owner sphere. So you see where you're having the most success and maybe spend a little bit more time there. So once you have the buyers and you're actively showing, the big do's and don'ts of showings. A lot of them might seem like common sense, but you would be surprised. So, big do's. Obviously, dress professionally and be on time, especially if you are dealing with internet leads and you are meeting them for the very first time at the property. Sometimes it gets awkward if you arrive late. The listing agent is also there to show the property, and they see that it's the first time you're meeting these buyers, especially if you're late. Actually, one thing I have most of the agents in the office do that works very effectively to avoid that awkwardness. We're in this day and age, it's very easy to pick up your phone and FaceTime someone. When you're calling them back to set the appointment or to confirm the appointment, FaceTime them. 9 times out of 10, they will pick up, and at least you are seeing each other and they know how you look like. So they're not getting to the house and maybe mistakenly asking the listing agent, "Oh, are you Catherine?" No, they know how you look like, so they're either going to wait for you or they're immediately going to go up to you. Provide comparables, provide information on the neighborhood. Also do research on the neighborhood, especially if it's one you don't actively sell in or if you're new. Know the schools, know the recreational areas, know what's around. That way, buyers are always filled with questions. You are equipped with the answers and you can immediately give it to them. In advance, always call the listing agent, get as much information as you can out of them, the property, especially if they already have offers. That is very important in today's market because then it creates urgency when you are talking with these buyers. And at the end of every listing, ask the listing. At the end of every showing, after every property, flat out ask them, "So, how did you like the house? Do you want to submit an offer?" We don't ask, we're not going to get a yes. It might equate to, let's say, 5 more offers that you're going to be writing versus maybe the 2. Big don'ts. As a courtesy, we usually let the buyers drive in and get their first pick of parking, or let them park in the front. But it's also psychological. Initially, they can imagine themselves driving into the driveway in their house. Don't be on the phone. Don't be that agent. Don't be the agent that the listing agent is showing them, or they are lost in the house doing their thing and you are like this on your phone. Your phone should be on silent or do not disturb. I always put it on do not disturb so I don't even get tempted to look at it. That's what the time in between showings is for. Once you get in your car, you can look at your phone, answer any text messages, or call anyone back. Once you're in your car, do not speed off. Seems like common sense, but you would be surprised, especially if they have kids, where it's gonna take them a little bit more time to put them in the car seat. As a courtesy, wait for them, especially if they're going to be following you to the next property. Don't give your personal opinion on the property unless you see something that an issue with the actual property that you would need to tell them. But if, let's say, the kitchen has dark cabinetry, you personally hate dark cabinetry, you think it makes it look dark, don't mention that. Why? You never know if they're going to like it or they don't even realize that it makes the kitchen look dark and they were tempted to make an offer, but by you mentioning that, they say, you're right, let's move on and look at more homes. And then, of course, do not refuse to show a property just because the commission is not to your liking. As much as we do not like it, we cannot actively tell them no if there's a low commission on the MLS. Contracts. Once they are ready to submit a contract, do not write a contract unless you know the ins and outs of the contract. What do I mean? Contingencies. Everyone automatically thinks of inspections and the loan commitment period, but there's a lot more to the contract, especially that could go wrong, that you should know. Take a class, read it inside out, know all the clauses, and also know the dates when they fall. I'll give you a perfect example. Because agents can be tricky and they'll always try to one-up you. Submitted an offer, got it accepted on Monday. I had put a 5-day inspection period, trying to be a little bit more aggressive. Fell over the weekend, so of course it trickled over onto Monday. Benefit to us, they got a couple extra days. I send over the important dates. He replies, I understand that the dates, and this is a seasoned agent, I understand that the dates fall over the weekend if it's title and bank-related dates. However, just so we're on the same page, your inspection period ends on Sunday. So of course I reply specifying on the contract where he's wrong. The next day, coincidentally, it's actually the inspection day, so I see him and he comes up to me, he's like, I have never had anyone correct me. And then you could tell he's so proud and saying the next sentence, he's like, I've never had anyone correct me. They all actually agree with me. I always get them to agree via email, and I'm like, oh my God. So know your dates, because your job at the end of the day is to protect the side that you're working on, especially if it's the buyer, you wanna protect their deposits at all costs. The same agent, something came up in inspection where it was a huge issue, they were gonna have an issue with any other buyers, so we actually negotiated a huge credit. And we were still in negotiations that Sunday. He's like, well, remember your inspection period ends Monday at 5 p.m. And I'm like, no, it does not. Per the contract, it's calendar days. It ends at 11:59 p.m. Lord and behold, we were till Monday at 11:30 finalizing the credits. So you have to make sure you know exactly what the terms are, the dates, in order to protect your buyer's deposits. Sorry, guys. Okay, perfect.
You taking questions at the end, or?
You have a question? Yes.
The dates.
Mm-hmm.
This is just my thought process, because we're all realtors, and we don't really control the contract in that sense, we're not attorneys, but why are we giving each other dates?
Important dates, so we're all on the same page.
So, but is it my responsibility to give the other side dates? I think the only date that, I'm asking, regardless, because I'm just saying, the only date that we probably really, really important is the effective date that we agree upon. The rest of the dates, I'd like, all right, so if I have the listing side or the buyer side, whatever side, why am I telling you what they do?
Well, if you're on the listing side, you want to make sure that you know when their inspection period is ending, because then they can't cancel for you.
I know that. My question is, why am I telling other professionals what date is.
Like she's saying that they should know.
Right.
No, that's not my question.
You mean that you're assuming that they should know?
No, I'm not assuming, you're a professional. So why am I giving you the dates? What I'm finding is that when we do that, it's almost like when someone sends me the dates, I just disregard them. If you have a problem or a situation with dates, you call the one who do legal, and it'll be clarified.
Why would you go from that?
But you
I'm
also,
not saying to put myself in
Okay.
that situation, I was just wondering.
you also want to send out, this is how a lot of the agents work and this is how I work. Whether you have a transaction coordinator, you do it yourself, you send off an email, not just to the other party, but also CCing the loan officer and title to make sure everyone's on the same page.
I'm just talking about the that's just what I want to tell you.
Yeah, but in this case, this is a perfect example. If I would not have done that, there would have been that little dispute at the end of when the inspection period was done, just because I was dealing with an agent that was trying to pull a fast one on me. So it's just to make sure everyone's on the same page with dates from the very beginning, and if there's any issues, you can always reference back to the email that everyone agreed upon. So, now, for the listing, yes.
I know actually, when I have the contract done, I will always send an email, not only to the other agent, but also to the buyer, the seller, and the closing agent.
Right.
To make sure that they're all on the same page, and it really helps with not having that conversation later at the last minute. So it helps to have it confirmed, I think, right away, when you have contract dates.
No, absolutely. So now, on the listing side, don't skip on your marketing, especially when you're dealing with a listing. We get a lot of money to sell a house. Do not be frugal when it comes to marketing it. Always remember, any money that you spend will always come back to you. Professional photography. These are pictures that are not only going to attract more buyers, but you're also going to be able to use them with your own personal marketing, either flyers, door hangers, or in the future for any other type of collateral that you want to use. Video, especially now with so many buyers coming to Florida, a lot of them are buying sight unseen. It's great if you spend a little extra money on a video where they can actually do a walkthrough, and then you're not getting a cancellation during the inspection period when they're actually coming down to see the property. Website, not your own personal website, but a website for the actual property. It's great to mention to the sellers that you have that added bonus for their listings, but remember, everything you do, you're also doing it for yourself and for your marketing purposes. This is a great tool to either post on social media, to boost on Facebook, or to use Google AdWords to get people to click on it and direct it over to your personal property website. You're going to generate a lot of buyer leads, and also you never know if you're actually going to end up finding your own buyer for the property and double ending your deal. And don't ever say something is not part of your job description. Other than the fact that it just sounds bad, I think we all have stories of where we've gone above and beyond. Yes, our job title is a realtor, we buy and sell, but there's so much more to that. I'll give you a perfect example. Let's say you're hosting an open house, you give the sellers plenty of notice, you get there and the house is in complete disarray, it's dirty, your job description is not cleaning lady, or you're not a cleaning service. However, it is to your advantage to tidy everything up, maybe clean a bit the kitchen, because it's going to give a better impression for the buyers that are coming in. I'll give you a personal example. I had I'm friends with a financial consultant. One of his clients, her sister passed away. He referred her to me because she wanted to sell the sister's property that she had just inherited. She was a very frail older woman, lived on the West Coast. She didn't even live here. I get to the house and it is, oh my God. It looked like a hoarder lived there. The poor sister was very sick, did not come out of her bed for the last year. I'm just mentioning that because you can just imagine the state the house was in. Anyone that would walk in, remember, buyers fall in love through their eyes, and that what they see is the value that they're going to give the property. I flat out told her, I'm like, you are going to get at least $50,000 less, even in today's market, because it looks like the house needs to get gutted. However, the house got built after Andrew, so I know the electrical is good, the plumbing's good, the roof was good. Structurally, it was sound. It was just, there were stains on the wall. It smelled, roaches everywhere. It was a disaster. What happened? I highly advised for her to spend at least $5,000 on a cleaning service to really deep clean that house, paint the house, but guess who was gonna be responsible for getting her the crew and overseeing everything? Me. I did it, but it netted her more money and it made my job a lot easier also. So always try and go above and beyond for your clients. Now, I wanna touch on the do's and don'ts of MLS etiquette, because I know some of our biggest complaints are all the mistakes that we see online. We can spend an entire hour on this section, but I'm going to touch on some of my particular pet peeves. So MLS listings, do's and don'ts. Love listings that have attachments, especially seller disclosure attachments. It is in your best interest as a listing agent to get that seller disclosure filled out, signed by the seller, and uploaded. So when you're getting the offer from the buyers, you can put in notes to please attach the seller disclosure, and you have that signed from the other party too. If you are listing a condo, please have the filled out condo writer already attached on the MLS. Remember, it's not fully executed until that condo writer is also executed. Also, do yourself a favor and add any supporting documents for condos. The bylaws, the frequently asked questions, the budget, because you have to give all of those over to the buyers and they have 3 days to review. If you forget and the buyer's agent never obtains them, they technically can cancel the day of closing and get their deposit back. So you're not protecting your seller in that instance. So it's to your benefit to just attach everything. That way, when they're submitting the offer, they're submitting it with the condo writer, and also the date of acceptance filled out that they've received everything. Know if a property is on septic or municipal. I actually had an agent in the office, it was about a week before closing, call me freaking out because they had just found out that the property her buyer was purchasing was on a septic. And if they're on a septic, you want to perform a septic inspection, of course, because God forbid, the septic is shot. You could be looking at anywhere from a $15,000 to $20,000 repair. Got resolved, she got the inspection. However, it's something that shouldn't be left for last minute. Have the owners find out the financeability of the property, especially if you are dealing with a townhouse as deemed condo or an actual condo building, because it can probably qualify for 5% financing. One thing that I love to do, if you are dealing with associations, send out an email to the association, let the owner, of course, know that you're doing this, and CC them, letting them know.
4 minutes.
No, okay. I'm gonna breeze through the rest. Letting them know that you are gonna be representing the seller in unit 123. If you can please answer these following questions and send over and ask for condo docs and all these other things if the owner does not have it. And then have the owner reply saying, yes, he will be representing me or she will be representing me. Please assist them in whatever it is that they need. Because technically associations should not be releasing information out to you without the owner's consent. But if that's done from the beginning, you'd be surprised how helpful they can be. All right, I'm gonna breeze through the pictures. Big no-nos. I know we all love the agent in mirror bathroom picture. Big no-no, do not have a picture with your signage and information on it. And then be present when the photographer is taking a picture so you can avoid, I mean, if there's a TV, either have it off, have a nice scenery on it, not Raul de Molina with captions, and the used dog wee-wee pad on the bottom.
Okay.
Remember how I mentioned spend money on professional photography? This is why. Now, pictures can make a world of a difference, especially in receiving more offers. Pictures on the left, it's the same house, front and back. Reason I included it, it was a rainy and gloomy day. The pictures looked awful, but if you're using a professional, they know how to tweak them. You cannot over Photoshop pictures or hide defects in the property, but I am not hiding anything. He just added clear skies, well, blue skies. And you can notice the skies are actually identical in both pictures, even though it's different angles. But it makes a world of a difference. Big fan of drones, especially, we all know buyers will click, 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 and a lot of times they will click over a great listing just because they do not find the building aesthetically pleasing. Especially if it's in a desirable neighborhood, put one of the first pictures as a drone shot. For example, this one, not the best looking building, the one on the top right, but it's right by Theater Coastal, Aventura Golf Course, and you can tell it's 5 minutes from the beach because you see Sunny Isles right there. And then try and get the actual picture of the building. A lot of complaints come from buyers saying they love the inside of the unit, but they have no idea how the building looks like, and also helps them when they're driving to the showing. Quickly, general remarks. This will prevent you in getting sued. Never, even though the association requires a minimum credit score, do not put it. It goes against fair housing. If you know the association, let's say, requires a minimum of 750, just put in the broker remarks, please contact association for requirements, or attach the application, but we cannot put that there is a minimum credit score. Same thing with Section 8, just don't mention Section 8. You can never put Section 8 is not allowed, don't even put that it is, just do not mention it. That is the easiest way to get sued. And then really be careful with your descriptions, especially if it's a particular community. It's a boaters community, golf community. I know we love to put boaters dream or golfer's dream, but it can seem like we are targeting a specific class of people. As we know, we all have to work together. Some of the biggest issues I've seen where transactions go awry is due to egos. Someone touched before on the disc profile. We have to be like chameleons. That's why I always say we have to be like chameleons in this profession, where we are constantly assimilating to the other person in order for them to respond, especially with the people that we work with. Let's say you are dealing with your seller and you need to get something done, and they are a high C, a very cautious person. If you're a high D, it's like a lion talking to a chihuahua. They're gonna shrivel up and go into a little hole, and you're never gonna see them again. You need to talk to them, especially at the beginning. Come down. If they're cautious, stroke them a little bit, be like, remember, I'm here for you, touch on their needs, and then go into what you need from them, either a price reduction. Let's say you're an analytical person. You start bombarding them with facts and charts, it's gonna go over their head, and they're not going to respond well to you. And then last but not least, don't be so hard on yourself. In this profession, it's very easy to be very hard on yourself, especially every single transaction is completely different from the other one, and everyone presents itself with a new set of challenges. But instead of beating yourself up, learn from every single scenario, and then learn how you can prevent anything in the future. Right, any questions? No?
Thank you.